Oh, there we go. So awesome, man. I'm glad you figured that out.
Yes, well, like I said, she did. I didn't.
Yeah.
I don't know much about this stuff.
Well, as soon as Ian joins us, he doesn't know anything about computers either. He'll tell you that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Uh, but Tony, man, thanks for coming on the show. We've been trying to get you for a little while. I know your schedule's been crazy.
Yeah, I just been kind of busy, which is
Yeah,
good. Which is good,
That's good. Yeah.
that's a good thing, man.
Gotta stay busy.
Boy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
yeah. So Tony,
I
first thing I need to ask you, how old are you?
65.
You're 65, man.
I, I almost forgot.
I'm telling you, man. Phil and I were talking before you guys came on, and I'm like, I can't, looking at this guy, I can't believe he competed in the 70s.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Mr.
yeah.
Mr. Venice Beach, 1976.
Yeah, man. And you had some connections with some guy named Arnold.
Yeah, it was a very interesting day. And
Yeah.
had a crazy squat session and turn around and
Yeah.
Arnold was standing there.
Yeah. So before we get, I know JP's probably got some questions for you and stuff. Kind of tell us how it started, where you started, what got you into bodybuilding.
Well, I wrote the book. I want to talk about that too, if I can.
Awesome. Yeah. Throw it in.
I was born in Memphis, Tennessee, and I think I was 12 years old. And it's a long story. I lived with my great aunt, and I was tortured, and she had a daughter. When you read the book, it's like things just couldn't happen the way it happened. But I was 12 years old, and I was, didn't have mom, didn't have a dad, and the daughter says, "Hey, I want you to move to St. Louis. Bring Tony with you and
Hmm.
Anthony." So we go to St. Louis, and um, I will get back to the Muhammad Ali story later, but I ended up training with George Turner, George Turner's gym. Now, he's a very famous guy. He had Samir Bannout and he had Dave Johns, Phil Williams, you know, going through his gym. So
Hmm.
the guy had a lot of knowledge, but he was an ex-Marine. He was tough as hell, and so he took an interest in me. There's a way I got to the gym. We'll talk about that later. But yeah, and I guess he saw some potential. I was 16 years old, and he had me squatting 10 sets of 10 Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, 300 pounds. So he saw something that I didn't see. I was just a kid,
Hmm.
but I love working out with weights. Like every day, it was just fun. It was a lot of fun. So that's how I got into bodybuilding. But I got into bodybuilding because of wrestling. I was in a wrestling team and blew my
Hmm.
knee out. So
Hmm.
that was
Hmm.
the end of that career.
Mhm.
So then I met Muhammad Ali, and he inspired me. It was the first time, because I was born in the South, in the deep South, the civil rights, the whole thing, and for me to see this champion live, in person, that really inspired me to get involved in sports, any kind of sports. I don't know what. And I go, I can't play football because I'm too slow and too small. I can't be a boxer, so hey, but I was pretty strong though, so I went up for the wrestling team.
Hmm.
So that's how it's all. Oh, my pictures are popping up here.
Yeah, I'm throwing your picture. Go ahead, keep talking. I'm just letting
Okay.
everybody see your pictures. Some old
So
school.
yeah, that's how it all started, and it was, I got the right trainer, when I first started. I guess he saw, because my wrestling coach told him, this kid, all he talks about is weight training and lifting weights. Can you train him? And so George says, yeah, bring him in. But he's poor, doesn't have any money. I don't care. Well, so I ended up cleaning the gym every day. That was my job. So I would work out and spend the nights cleaning George's gym, and then on to California. We'll talk about that later too.
Hmm.
Big decision to move to California because instinctively I just knew that's the place you got to be. Because back in St. Louis, there was not much happening in the mid '70s. It was slow pace, and it was just
Hmm.
there's nothing going on. And I knew I had to get out of there. And you saw magazines, these guys. I mean, I knew Arnold and Franco and Arabi, and I knew their names already. So, and we knew LA was the place to go.
What year was that?
1976.
That was 76. Okay.
I was 19. I had just turned 19. So I said,
Hmm.
George, after about 9 months of torture from him, I'm moving to LA. And he goes, and he just lost it. He flipped out and goes, "You're not going anywhere, and you're never gonna make it out there. There's kids out there, arms 15 years old, got arms bigger than yours," which
Hmm.
is true. The time he was correct, but I
Hmm.
never forget that because my face was like. And then you know, the next day he kind of calmed down and says, well, and if you go to California, look up Ken Waller. You know Ken Waller from Pumping Iron, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know him, but yeah, I know you're talking
Yeah.
about.
So he was training at Gold's Gym. All the famous guys were at Gold's Gym in Venice, on Pacific Avenue.
Hmm.
I mean, I guess you want to be a champion from all over the world, they would end up there.
Hmm.
So look up Kenny Waller and tell him I sent you, and maybe he can help you because I didn't know anyone in the state of California. You know, I just dreaming of Hollywood and working out, you know, at the gym.
Hmm.
So that's how it all happened. When I saw Kenny that day, he weighed about 230, 240 for back in those days. That's huge.
Hmm.
Yeah.
He was sitting in a stool. He was doing a squat session. I looked across the gym and I saw him. I said, "Oh hell no, I'm not going to talk to this guy." He was so intimidating.
Hmm.
You know, so I'm not going to approach this guy at all. So that fell through. But yeah, it's I don't know. I just had this passion that I had to go. There was an urgency because I told my sister, if you read the book, I told my sister, I'm going to California and I need to go now.
Hmm.
So she flipped out on me, and you know, I'm leaving her in St. Louis all by herself, and I don't know. It just now I look back and go, it was all planned. There was a master plan behind all of this. Because of my aunt, if she didn't have a daughter in St. Louis, I would never made it to St. Louis.
Hmm.
If I didn't join the wrestling team, I would have never made it to see George Turner. So things just fell into place, you know. And for me going out there with such an urgency, I
Hmm.
had to get there at a certain amount of time, like now. And I had a one-way ticket. There was no return. So I had to use, I call it live and die in LA. That was my
Hmm.
motto. You're gonna live or you're gonna die. I was 50 cents away from dying.
Hmm.
50 cents left. I had this all that was in my pocket.
Wow.
That yeah, that's
Mm.
a big story. I still talk about this guy. I wrote about him. You know, I went to this company. He was looking for a job, of course, and the guy says, "Oh, we just gave that job to the last kid because he had a car and he drove there from the unemployment office.
Hmm.
I walked 18 blocks. So by
Mm.
the time I got there, he's got the job and he's gone. And so with that moment, I just lost him. 19 years old. You can't call home. There is no home. I don't know anybody. This is it. And that's when the fear comes over you. So the guy says, wait a minute. Sorry, can't, there's no job for you, but here, his $50 check he gave me. So
Hmm.
that little $50 was the lifesaver. It held, you know, I had chips, coffees, and the donuts every day, whatever,
Hmm.
just to survive, just to hold on, just praying and hoping.
Mm.
And I kind of made my way to, I got thrown out of Gold's Gym. It's another story I got to tell you.
Okay.
Original Gold's Gym, I got thrown out. I tell you, the first time I walked into Gold's Gym, for all these young kids out there, and you know, I had seen the magazines and you read about them, but to go there and see them live working out, it was a very important day because Joe Weider was training, taking pictures of Frank Zane. You know, Zane had the belt on real tight, he's in great shape,
Hmm.
recognized him, and then you had Manuel Perry, the Incredible Hulk double. You had Danny Padilla, you know, Ken Waller, all the guys were there that day. And
Hmm.
I just went and I was just sitting in the corner watching these guys work out. Oh my God. And
Imagine.
something in the back of my mind was saying, you could look like this. I always believe in those moments. And these, they had the very serious expression on their face. I mean, these guys were training like there's no tomorrow. Their life depended on it.
Hmm.
There was no drinking. There was no talking. There was all you could hear was the weights clinging together. And my eyes are like, whoa. I said to about 45 minutes, and then the owner of the gym, the manager says, hey, kid, get over here. You know, what are you doing? I said, well, you know, I want to work out. So you don't have any money. You got to buy a membership. I don't have any money. Can I train for the day? He goes, no, you're going to have to leave. So he kicked me out of the gym. So occasionally I was able to sneak in and get a couple of workouts in that gym. This guy named Bill Pettis, he had like the biggest arms in the world. I would train with Bill Pettis a few times. He
Hmm.
was doing like 50 sets of dips, he was telling me. He had 24-inch arms. In those days, that was a big arm.
Oh yeah.
Bill Pettis, he passed away a couple of years ago, I think. And so I ended up making my way to Muscle Beach. So yeah, which was just across the street, down the boardwalk a little bit.
Hmm.
But you know, it was 2 minutes to get down there.
Mhm.
So I see the weight pit, and oh my God, it was full of guys working out, seriously working out. A lot of tourist people from all over the world standing around, taking pictures. I mean, it's like a show, like entertainment, because bodybuilding was so new.
Mhm.
What is this bodybuilding stuff? Because back in St. Louis, you're a freak, you're crazy. Those guys live in the basement, they lift weights. I used to get there in high school all the time. Why do you go to the weight room every day? Why do you lift weights? Why do you want muscles? My family said the same thing.
Mhm.
Why do you want to build your body? It doesn't make any sense. So the only place you could that was accepted would be Gold's Gym, Muscle Beach.
Mhm.
So yeah, I arrived at Muscle Beach, and I talked about this, how I worked out in the weight pit, and
Mhm.
a lot of pros came down there. I mean, like Arnold would come down, him and Franco, they would work out and go to the beach, lay in the sun, chase
Mhm.
the girls, come on.
Oh yeah, yeah,
This is the 70s, mid 70s.
yeah.
But I was dirt poor, trying to figure out where my next meal is going to come from and where am I going to sleep tonight.
Mhm.
It's a lot going on, but I still managed to work out. I was still working out. I had training. I got a training partner down there, and
Mhm.
every day that's where I would be. And Arnold said to me, he goes, "I've been watching you for months," and I didn't know that. I'm
Yeah.
just so into what I was doing, and that's when he sent me to see Joe Weider. So I think Arnold saw something from a distance as well, and I don't think it was not because I had this great physique.
Mhm.
I think he saw the intensity and the desire.
Mhm.
Because it's 100 degrees out, and I'm squatting 400 pounds, and we're going crazy. So I think he saw this kid got the heart and the mindset.
Mhm.
So I didn't have a lot of muscle.
Mhm. I was gonna say, what did you weigh? What did you weigh around that time?
I weighed about 165, 170 maybe.
Okay.
I was super cut though. Genetically, I was really, really, that's
Mhm.
genetics. I was very defined, very
Mhm. Mhm.
cut. The legs were up. If you know, let me put something to bed here because people say, "Oh, Tony Pearson had no legs." Somebody said that to my face down here in Venice a couple of years ago, and I go, "Then I must be Houdini, maybe Copperfield, because I
Uh-huh.
tricked the judges 13 times with no
Mhm.
legs." So Arnold wrote in his book, this kid had legs, shape, build, killing himself, super heavy weights in the hot heat. That's what he wrote in his book.
Mhm.
So if you don't see me in person, you can't judge me.
Mhm.
Because when Samir won Mr. Olympia, I was pro at the time. You know how pros, we're competitive.
Mhm.
And I go, Samir won? You know what I mean? Like, really? Yeah. And then him and I did a show in Montreal, Vancouver. And I walked to backstage. It was like a musical type of show. But Samir was standing there, and I go, okay, now I see. So when you see the person live, front, back, and side, go, that's the champion. Pictures and videos do not do people justice, not at
Yeah.
all. So people, and the words out, Tony has no legs. I hear that all the time. They wrote about it, like whatever. But just think about what Arnold told. So
Mhm.
yeah, that's how it all began. It was just trying to survive.
Mhm.
I mean, it's a lot of guys who've gone out there. I think like Pete Grimcast was sleeping in his car. You know who Pete
Yeah.
Grimcast is.
Mhm.
Slept in his car. A lot of guys did the same thing. I
Yeah.
mean, you just, back in St. Louis, you keep hearing about California. If you live in the Midwest in those days,
Mhm.
California was paradise.
Mhm.
You're going to go palm trees, beaches, ocean girls, everything's there.
Yeah.
You've got to be there. And that was part of it. That was part of it too. And another part, I wanted to get away. I
Mhm.
wanted to escape. I wanted to get as far away as I could, all the way to the ocean.
Mhm.
But the main thing was, I was so passionate, so in love with lifting weights and watching my body change.
Mhm.
That was really motivating for me because I was
Mhm.
skinny, a little kid.
Mhm.
I was tiny. If you see some of the pictures, even though I
Mhm.
have some wrestling pictures,
Mhm.
and I was strong though. Yeah, at that time, yes, legs were weak. First thing George said to me in the first session, he goes,
Mhm.
"We're going to work on those bird legs." And that was his expressions.
Mhm.
Okay. And basically, I was doing squats Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, 10 sets of 10. I would do in pull-ups Tuesday, Thursday, Saturdays, 10 sets of 10, and not much else because that was his rule. I do what I tell you. You do what I tell you to do, or there's the door.
Yeah.
Training with George,
Right.
it's like you never, right?
Right.
You never said anything to George like, I can't,
No.
I'm tired, because he's gonna lose it and go, there's the door. Take it.
Yeah.
And I knew that.
Yeah.
Instinctively, I knew never to say no to George. I mean, on the third workout, which is Friday, I can't get out of the car. My legs are too sore. I can't get out of the car. But once you get in the gym, you warm up, and here you go. So for 9 months that went on. I never complained because I loved it. I was just in heaven. Be that grateful and that fortunate to have such a great trainer, which I didn't know. Found out later. He's legendary.
Yeah.
And all the great ones went through there to get to LA, even in Waller. So so it's a crazy story.
That's crazy. Now you did a couple Olympias, right? How many total Olympias did you do?
I did 2.
Okay.
85, 80, no, 84, 85, 84 and 85. So the 84 in New York when Lee won, and then because he won 8 in a row, and then Belgium, 85 in Belgium.
Okay.
Placed 12th in both, but once you read the book, there's another whole story behind that too. So it's a lot of information that my chances of winning were not very good, and I knew that going in.
Yeah.
A little politics behind it.
Do you think, and I'm sorry, I know the other guys may have some questions.
Yeah.
Do you think the Olympias in the 80s or the competition was harder than it is today, or?
It's hard to say because I think the guys were more conditioned in the 80s.
Yeah.
It took a lot more work.
I
mean, you train twice a day, 6 days a week, year round, peak condition. I mean, your body fat's down. I went down like 3-4% body fat. I was known for shredded. So that's that's hard on the body.
How at your biggest, what did you weigh?
On stage, when I got to the WBF, I was the biggest, maybe 205, 205.
Okay.
But that weight and how I look, you know what I mean? You look bigger than you weigh.
Right.
Quality of
The illusion.
the illusion.
Yeah. The illusion
And
of size.
that's what they always call me, the illusion, because they would see me on stage posing, then they come backstage and go, wait a minute, was that you out there? I look so small. But I had very 29, 30-inch waist, super small joints, and how you project yourself on stage. It's just hard to say from the 80s until now. I mean, the guys look good. I'm not into size. I was never into size. I was into art. And Zane and Steve Reeves and Robbie. Some of these guys was the piece of art. So I want to sculpt myself like these guys.
Right.
I want to be so cuts on top of cuts. So the guy in the back row can go, oh my God. And then you hit a back pose. Oh my God. Not just, no, like mind blowing. That was my goal. How cut can I get? And how well can I present it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's the thing about today is the art isn't there like it used to be. I mean, we've all talked about that.
Yeah, I think that's lost.
Yeah. What is art? Art is broad shoulders, small waist, small hips, full belly muscles. I mean, what's his name? Came second to the Olympia in the 90s. God, you guys know who it is.
Which one?
African American. When he lost to
you talking about Flex?
Flex.
Yeah.
I mean, look at that round, the muscles of the belly, great back. I told him Mr. Perfect. He's another Mr. Perfect. So that's to me idea of art.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Flex was beautiful, beautiful physique.
And Frank Zane, quick story about Frank Zane. So 1977, I'm at Gold's Gym, Santa Monica, and just by chance, Robbie said to me, "You want to go see Frank pose?" Yes, sir. I'm hanging out with Robbie Robinson. At that time, this guy was #1 in the world. I mean, Frank was winning, but Robbie got all the work. He was just busy. So we go to Orange County. We're sitting there in second row, first row, watching Frank Zane. And what, I'm 19, 20 by now. And Frank was standing from the side. It wasn't straight on to the music, to the audience. He was waiting for the music to start. And the music began, and all of his classic shots started, you know what he does. Hitting all these amazing shots. I was like, oh my God. In every pose, he got bigger. And I could tell he was so well rehearsed. That's when I realized this is artwork. And he changed his program, working out, exercises to make himself look the way he looks. I did the same thing. I did exercises before a show. I have a vision of what I want to look like, and in that vision, I have to go back and do the work now. Really cut, small waist, thick abs, everything's on point. But you have to have a vision of what you want to look like before you can achieve that. You can't just train as I'm going to be in shape. No, what are you going to look like? And that's what I did before every show. I go, this is exactly how I want to look. And that's a lot of work. It's twice a day, killing yourself, starving to death, whatever it takes, just get it done. I didn't have a cheering section in my corner. I didn't have anybody, no family member, occasionally a training partner, no training partners, no coach, no diet person. It was just all on me. And fighting the federation at the same time. I would put the competitors' pictures on the wall and said, this is what I got to do. I got to look better than this guy, from looking at their pictures only. And I just did the work, train twice a day on my own. So, bodybuilding is a very tough sport. You got to have a lot of heart and a lot of willpower. I fought through the pain. I had a bum knee for 20-year career. My knee was hurting every day. My back was hurting every day, but I fought my way through. So, bodybuilding is a very tough sport. It's not for the weak.
No.
Not for the weak. There's some guys, which I know, they train for a show and then they disappear for 3-4 months. They don't train at all. See, that's not bodybuilding. That's not what I call the bodybuilder loves it. It's passionate. You don't have to have a show. I'm going to work out every day for myself. I started competing and training, working out just for myself. Yes, I made a career out of it by chance, but that was not the purpose.
So, you just competed a couple years ago.
Yeah, 2020. I came back. I was 63.
Yeah, and you won.
I won the Masters in my category, 63 years old. Yeah.
Wow.
And then 2007? No, 14. I competed again. I won the NABA, Mr. Masters USA.
It's impressive, man.
And I appreciate it. And that was it. Well, the last show was like my body says, hey, your mind's still there, but the body says, So I got pretty ill after that, and it took me a long time to recover. So I'm retired. That's it. I hate to talk about my mom, but my mom always said to me, she says, you need to back off. All this dehydration, all this overtraining. She knew how I worked. I mean,
I think everybody's mom said that to us once or twice.
Like, what are you doing? Why are you killing yourself? You don't need to do that anymore. Right? So, but you know how we are. Just one more time. So so it's it's you gotta love what you do. You gotta really love what you do, because there's a lot of sacrifice. You pretty much give up everything, which I did. But you're so locked in, you can't walk away. What are you going to do? What am I going to do if I can't go on stage and compete and work out? I mean, I'm training for myself now, just for my health. But in those days, 70s, 80s, and 90s, I was 100%. Let's go. Not only competing, but exhibitions and seminars. They expect you to be in the same condition as a see in the magazine. There's no internet. So they bring you in, and they bring you across London and Amsterdam, all these places. It's a very small community, and they call each other. How did he look? You better get a report card, otherwise you don't go back to Europe.
That's
Mhm.
I
true.
always made sure that I'm going to be 100% on that stage, just like you saw in the magazine. And then
Mhm.
I said, I don't want to let the promoter down, and I don't want the competitors outclass me. They're in
Right.
better shape than the gas poser.
Mhm.
No,
Yeah.
no, that ain't gonna happen. So, so that's which means that you're in shape all year long.
Mhm.
So that's wear and tear as well. So body fat 4 or 5% all year long, and you're training twice a day. So
Mhm.
you just kind of
Yeah.
wear yourself down,
Mhm.
Definitely.
Ian,
right?
did you ever compete with him? Because he was in the 90s, early 90s.
No, I followed Tony really from when I first started bodybuilding. I mean, that Olympia in '85 in Belgium, I watched that video a million times. I know your posing routine back to front, upside down, and inside out. So
Thank you.
I've got nothing but respect for you. I think you were probably one of the most. If I spoke about bodybuilders who created an illusion, I think you did it better than anybody, honestly.
Yeah.
Because
Thank
your
you.
lats into your tiniest little waist, when you do
Yeah.
your vacuum and turn from the side and then turn to the front and hit the abdominal shot. I nothing but respect for you. You're one of my. I've never got to meet you, but one of my all-time idols, to be honest with you.
I
And,
appreciate that.
I came up through the NABA Federation in England as a junior, and I won the Junior Miss Universe in 1988. And then I switched federations, but you know, your name was very prevalent with the NABA Federation. So
Okay.
yeah, nothing but
I
respect.
competed for a couple of years. You know, in 1979, I came second in Lulu from Turkey, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
I went back the following year and I won the pro, but yeah, I loved it. It was a great time in London. Wonderful time.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Did you
Tony,
get
I was
any
telling.
backlash?
No,
Sorry, go on, Phil.
go. Hey, Tony, I was telling them you competed in every federation that I can think of, from the AAU Mr. America.
Right.
Then you gone to NABA, won the Universe, the
Mhm.
WBBG, if I'm correct.
Yes.
Right.
Dan Laurie.
NABA and WABA.
Yes. Serge Nugret, WABA.
Right.
I won the world there with WABA.
Right. That's incredible, man.
And
Did
then
you get any backlash?
Vince McMahon's
I was going to
Yeah,
ask you,
exactly. There you
WBF.
go. WBG.
what the IFBB think about all this?
It was not good. But I wasn't doing it intentional. I just had to make a living.
I don't think they
Yeah.
care.
I didn't have a contract with Joe. Never did. He never gave me a dime. And you know, I had a suspension. We'll talk about the suspension that I had.
What was that
I
for?
got suspended for life from the IFBB.
Really?
Why?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. When was that?
Well, I won Mr. America, and there was a big discussion. In fact, they're still talking about that show that I see on IG even now. He should never have won. I still see that.
Wow.
And so somebody got really upset about this whole situation that I won. And I'm starving. What happened was I won the contest and I was homeless again. Because even I went back to the gym in Santa Monica, no one would talk to me at the gym. I mean, they're all turning their back on me. I was like an outsider. So I got a call from Belize in South America, Central America.
Mm-hmm.
And the guy says, we want you to guest pose. I'm desperate for money. And I go, sure. Not a lot, but you know, fly me down. I go down there, check into the hotel, and the guy says, Mr. Pearson, here's a telegram. So, you know, 1979, no, 1979, telegram. So I read the telegram, and it's from Ben Wheeler, and he said, if you guest post tomorrow, you will be suspended for life. I guest post. So now I'm under life suspension, homeless, nowhere to go. So that's how it all started. I was the current Mr. America. Yeah, so that was the beginning of my career. And a couple of years later, my friend Kent Keane, he passed away. You know Kent, right? You guys, Kent? Yeah.
Yeah.
He was the manager of Gold's Gym in the prime time in those years. And he said to me one day, why don't you write a letter to Ben, and I'm sure he'll let you back in. So I wrote the letter, and Ben allowed me to compete again in IFBB. And so I don't want to tell the whole story, but I went to Australia. So I saw Arnold at a cafe in Venice soon after that. And from across the room, he says, you know, his accent, why don't you go down to Australia and win something for a change? That's what he said to me. So I said, okay. I go down there, and just before I go on stage, the judge came over to me and he said, you're never gonna win. And I was just staring in his eyes like, what do you mean? I'm all pumped up, ready to go on stage. It's not a good time to tell me this.
Mm-hmm.
And he goes, you'll always be in the top 5, and you'll always make money, but you're not gonna win. So from that moment, I became a business person to make money,
Mm-hmm.
not to compete to win anymore. I realized it. I switched my mind just like that. I said, okay, I'll make some money. But thanks to Ben and Joe, they reinstated me, which means I could do exhibitions and seminars and still compete, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Never gonna get rich, not gonna win, but I was doing something that I love to do. So that's how I got back into the IFBB. I came 3rd in Australia. And for the next 10 years, if you really check my record, he was correct. He was on point. This is exactly what happened. So going into the shows, I knew what was up, but I would go into the show, look at my absolute best. I'm going to do my homework. And then whatever happens after that, I can't control it. So
that absolutely infuriates me that you went through that. That is just, it's wrong on so many levels that any federation can actually say to you that you can't compete, you can't do what you love, and to try and wreck your livelihood. I mean, I just think it's
right.
I think it's disgusting. Absolutely disgusting.
Yeah.
It infuriates me. And you know what infuriates me more? That people accept it. That people just, that's what infuriates me more, that people just go, oh yeah. I mean, I retired at 28, Tony, for the exact reason. You know, I turned pro at 20 and I retired at 28 because I was like, I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to be a pawn for these people. I'm not going to do it. And that's why I'm running a bodybuilding federation called the PCA now. And the whole reason why I'm so passionate about it is because I think the whole politics is, excuse my language, but bullshit. I just think it's wrong. I think as a bodybuilding is the same sport. I don't care what federation you compete with.
Right. Yes.
The same sport. It's bodybuilding. And it's just like having all these different federations years ago with boxing, you know, and you've got all these different world champions. I just find it, I just think it's wrong on so many levels, and it needs to be changed. And it's only going to be changed if people stand up to it and stop accepting it as a fact that you've got to serve your dues or you've got to kiss ass to certain people to do well. It's wrong. It infuriates me because I know how good you were. I know how good you were, and you should have won a lot of shows, and you should have been more prevalent. And the fact that you didn't really make a good living out of it, or a great living out of it, that infuriates me because you were a legend, man.
I appreciate that.
Absolutely.
What did Lee Priest have almost the same thing? Did he went somewhere else and they suspended him for life, right?
Yeah, I think so. I think did he compete with NABA as well? I'm not sure.
I think it was
he won. He was NABA. He won the NABA universe.
Yeah.
And he was suspended for life.
Yeah.
Well, Lee's promoting NABA in Australia now. I know that for a fact, but it's just wrong. You know, it's just wrong that they can play with people's lives like that. I think Robbie had similar issues, didn't he, Tony?
He did.
Yeah, Robbie went through a lot too.
Yeah. Well, Robbie was here at my house a couple of years ago, and I've known Robbie from being a teenager, so I know some of the things that Robbie's told me, and it infuriates me. I just find it's so wrong. You know, the fact that it's not new, it's still going on nowadays. Trust me, it still goes on now. It's even more widespread, I think, because they've got the control of so many athletes. I just think it's we all need to stand together. We all need to link our arms and say no more and just not put up with it anymore. but there's always going to be those people that want to conform, and the people that reach the top, whether they deserve to or not, are never going to denounce what's going on. They're just not.
Sure, that's right.
Sorry, I get on a rampage when I start going. I apologize.
No.
True though, it really is. I mean, if anybody who's watching this just goes back and watch some video of Tony when he was competing, I mean, open your mind and just look at the physique you're looking at, and the way it's presented. I mean, your posing was incredible too. It's just, you accomplished a lot of things, and to hear that you were treated like that, it just infuriates me. It really does. It's wrong on so many levels. You are one of the best in the world, and to not be acknowledged, that is sad.
Where'd you get the name the Jet Man? Where'd that come from?
When I was in Germany, and how I made it to the WBF, I was sitting in Germany, late 80s. My career was really, going downhill. And nothing was happening. I'm just working out. I was in good shape. And Tom Platz called me in Germany. He said, "So you're hard to find. We can't find you." And I was known for that, to disappear and don't know where the hell he is. Tom Platz found me, and he goes, "Well, Vince McMahon is creating a bodybuilding federation. We want you to be a part of it because you know how to pose and you got charisma on stage, and that's what we're looking for, entertainment, you know what I mean?" And I said, okay. And I went to New York and signed a contract with Vince. And so that's how I got to the WBF. And my friend in Germany says, "Hey, man, your back is really wide. What about the Jet Man?" It was kind of his idea. And I go, yeah. So I told Tom, he goes, "That's a good idea. We'll take it. We like it." So that's how the Jet Man came about. And because we all had character names, Mike Christian was the Iron Warrior, and I mean the list goes on. So
yeah. Phil, you're hanging sideways there, Phil.
Yes, I don't know why I'm doing that. Let me turn this around.
Was that a lucrative contract?
Yeah.
Tony, was
no
that's contract that you had with?
Guys, I kind of lost you. How do I get you back? I kind of lost you.
You there? We got you, Tony.
You got me?
Yeah, I think Phil's losing connection. I think he's throwing us off a little bit, but we're good.
Okay. Oh no, I've lost you guys. I can't see you, but you can see me, right?
Yeah, we got you.
We can see you.
How do I get this back?
Technology.
Oh boy.
Can you guys see me all right?
All we can see is your name. There's no picture.
Whoa.
Wow.
Can you see us, Tony?
I'm changing.
No, I see you, Tony.
I see you, Tony. Guys at all.
I'm changing my views here, but I don't think there's only so much I can do from my end.
Okay.
But you're good. We see you. We can hear you. So.
Okay.
So.
Was that a lucrative contract, Tony, what you signed with WBF?
It was, and it lasted 2 years. Vince would pay you every month, and part of the contract, if you're out of shape, you lose your paycheck for the month. So,
oh wow,
you had to make sure you're in top form, and drug testing too, because he would call you up overnight, get to the lab, just like that.
Wow.
Vince was no nonsense. He didn't mess around. So
yeah,
I passed all the tests. They take all the blood. I was clean. This is 1991, 1992. I spent the third year with him. I was advertising, endorsing his products, all the GNC stores. I hit all the GNC stores around America. With Ico Pro products.
Yeah, I remember that.
I mean, Fred Hatfield was a part of it too.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's it was a fun 2 years. I mean, we hate to see it go. We had our own magazine. We had a TV show every Saturday morning. One of the networks here in the States. It was a lot of fun. It was good.
So you were working every week. Then you doing like TV or or guest appearances weekly?
Yes, yes, he kept us very busy. I mean, you're on contract, you know. He says when you phone call, you got to go. So I was on the road most of the time, just like the wrestlers, basically.
Yeah,
He just keep you moving.
Yeah.
I know that lifestyle. When I stopped bodybuilding, I actually pro wrestled for quite a few years.
Oh, okay. Wow.
Yeah, I know exactly what that's like.
Yes.
So I wrestled for WWE a few times as well, but traveled a lot with those guys. So yeah, I kind of got an insight into that. I was also very good friends a long time ago with Mike Quinn, as crazy as he is.
You know Mike Quinn.
Yeah, I know Mike pretty well. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I actually opened Mike.
Hey, Tony, what happened after the?
Sorry, say that again, Phil.
Yeah, we're not getting you, Phil.
gonna-
Your connection's horrible.
I don't know what it is. I'm on my phone.
I can't understand why.
Is that better?
No, we don't have you. You're coming in and out.
You do some posing then when you got up.
I got you back. We're back.
There you go.
I can see you now.
Perfect.
Yeah, so that was the WBF years, and that, like I said, that was really the end of my career because I was in Germany doing nothing and didn't know where to turn. And you know, after it was about 20 years, so I figured after 20 years that it was enough. It's time to walk away. I was not winning, and I was never going to get that Olympia. So,
well, let me ask you something, Tony. You're 65.
Yes.
You've been competing 45 years, basically, right? Maybe a little longer. Now, I'm assuming you ran gear off and on back in the day, or I mean, did you stay natural most of the time, or?
I won Mr. America Natural.
Okay.
Because at Gold's Gym in those days, the pros, the top guys, they didn't tell you anything. I mean, there was no internet or word of mouth or young people. We knew it existed, but no one was talking about it, not to you.
Right.
Once I won the America, and then I was training for something after that, a couple of guys might whisper something in your ear. So I did take a little bit of testosterone and a little Winstrol and, you know, but very small amounts because I was afraid of it. I said, I'd rather do the work because what's going to happen when my career is over and then I'm ill and sick, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, that's what I'm getting to is the secret to your longevity.
Yes.
You know, you see these other some of them are falling off and stuff.
Yeah, I was really afraid of it. And I would take the smallest amount and people laugh at me, go, other guys go, what the hell is that? So I go, yeah, but you know, if it give me just a little edge, a little extra, okay, I'll take it. And then I made a pact to myself that I would train with the same amount of weights if I'm on, if I'm off. So psychologically, I'm not going to play this game. I'm going to lift the same amount of weights when I'm off or when I'm on. You know what I mean? The guy gets so caught up because they take tons and tons of stuff. They get really strong, and they're afraid to come off because they start losing their strength and they start losing size. So, and you know, it took me years. I remember it took years before I weighed about 170 when I got there to get over the 200 pounds. And I remember the first day I said, "Wow, I'm weighing 200." You know, such a fast metabolism, extremely fast metabolism. So and I never wanted to be big. I don't want to be known as one of the big guys. No, I want to beat the big guys. You know, I used to get that all the time. They used to call me skinny. Hey, skinny, you're never going to win. This is at the gym. These are guys. These are your competitors. And I go, yeah, but I'll see you on stage. That's all I said. They knew under the light, I create the illusion. I'm going to outpose you. I'm going to outwork you. So, you know, you got to believe in yourself and not being cocky. Just know what you're capable of. I knew guys I couldn't beat. I competed against them, but I knew going in, I'm not going to beat this guy. I'm just going to do my thing. I'm going to do my show. This guy for sure is going to win. I know that because he's better than me. I got it. But that was motivation for me. I'm going to go back and try to get as good as I can. You know, I'm going to work my back harder, work the calves, work the quads, whatever I need to do to look better the next show. And every show you try to improve, you know, the judges always use the competition against you. Because, well, we've seen you look better. To me, that's an excuse to score you low, basically. I go, yeah, but I look better than the competitors here today. Yeah, but we've seen you look better. So, you know, it just
Yeah.
it is just a game.
Now, when you were
Yeah.
when you got into the bodybuilding scene, when you started getting a little bit more experience, stuff like that, was Arnold approachable? Were you able to go up to him and say, "Hey," and ask him questions, or was he kind of,
No,
nah, you don't bother Arnold, huh?
no, that was the day.
Yeah.
No, I think I saw him maybe in the restaurant like 2 or 3 years later, go to Australia.
Uh-huh.
So he was in the picture. And then when World's Gym opened in Venice, the grand opening, I saw him there. And I didn't see Arnold for years,
Oh, okay.
many, many years. No,
Mhm.
no. But there was no more communication or connecting. But I'm still grateful because without him coming up to me saying that, you know, you're going to be a champion someday,
Mhm.
in my mind, the greatest bodybuilder on the planet just said, I'm going to be a champion someday.
Mhm.
I believe him.
Mhm.
So with all the negative reports and all the bad press that I read about myself, I just ignored it because I remember what he said.
Mhm.
And then that, you know, that helps for you to believe in yourself.
Mhm.
Because he said it, then he must believe it. Then you know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
So that's what really got me going. Because I got to California, wanted to be a bodybuilder. I'm training at the weight pit every day, but I didn't have a plan. I was just working out basically. And even the first show that I did, my training partner says, "Hey man, Mr. Venice Beach coming up in a few weeks. Why don't you enter?" Oh yeah, okay. I was so naive. You know, when you read my book, you see how I grew up. It's just horrible. And I go, yeah, okay, why not? And the way I got in shape for that contest, I would go to Santa Monica College and I run around the track 4 times and I'm ready for the show. So super fast metabolism. I weighed about, 160, 165. And I won. And then I made a prediction that day that I'm going to be Mr. America in 2 years. And everybody laughed.
Yeah. Yeah. You did it.
I'll put
But for me, I had to say it out loud to believe it.
here's your book here.
Okay, yes.
Mhm.
So I won in 2 years.
Now you won that show pretty young, Tony. You were 21 when you won the Mr. America.
Yes, I was the second youngest. Because Casey Viator
Second, Casey Viator, yeah,
did
being
19.
19.
Yes, I won it
Exactly.
21. Yeah, so that was fun. I won the Junior USA and the Junior Mr. America that year. So
You won that in 77, right?
No, that was 78. What happened? I'll tell you about 77. There was a show, the Junior Mr. USA in Lincoln, Nebraska. And Ken Sprague says to me, he was the owner of Gold's Gym. He goes, "I want you to compete in the national show." And I go, "Okay." So we get to Lincoln, Nebraska. I come in third in my class. And I was so depressed, so discouraged. I said, there is no way. The way those guys looked, there's no way I'm never going to make it. There's no way. Impossible. So on that flight back home was really some soul searching.
Mhm.
But what I did, I went back home and we started training even harder. That's all. So 78 became my year. So I won the LA that year and I won the Junior USA, Junior Mr. America, and won the America. So that was we all got to work.
But that was all in 78.
All in 78.
Gotcha.
But after getting blown off the stage in 77. So
Yeah.
You're quite a pioneer in mixed pairs, right, Tony?
yeah, and
Yeah.
which was a wonderful thing. And I think, Wayne D'Amelio called me. I was in the airport somewhere, and he goes, "We're doing a mixed pairs competition." I go, "Okay." I mean, I knew something about mixed pairs because I posed with Lisa Lyon, the first female bodybuilder. We actually did a mixed pairs posing together. So I knew something about it. And he says, "I want you to pose this girl. Her name is Shelly Gruel, and she lives in Fresno, California. We need one more couple to compete." And I said, "Okay." So I go to Fresno and I start, she's an ex-gymnast. And John Brown, John Brown? Anybody know John Brown?
Absolutely, yeah.
Mhm.
Yes, right? You know John Brown, the showman,
Yeah.
posing.
Oh, yeah.
He tore Europe up with it. So he kind of helped us put together that first routine. He used her gymnastics ability, and he kind of groomed us together how to transition from one pose to the next. I give John a lot of credit for that because I didn't know how to do it. Then the second year we did it again. We won 2 in a row. So that's how the mixed pairs started for me. It was a lot of fun. It's a lot of work because when you have 2 people working together, you have to be in sync. Everything has to be on point. One mistake and the whole house sees it. So every move, every gesture, every expression, timing, music has to be working. So it's been weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks of rehearsal, plus the training, plus the dieting. But it was fun. It was a lot of fun. We got a lot of coverage from that. So it was a lot of fun. I just saw Shelly 3, 4 days ago in after 40 years.
Yeah.
Shelly Gruel. So she won a few world titles. And so yeah, that was a lot of fun. Mixed
You
pairs.
also did it with
I did 7 of those. I won 6 out of 7.
Juliet Bergman and Carla Dunlap too, right?
Yeah, Carla Dunlap twice, Juliet once, and Tina Flyconture once, and Shelly. Yeah, I kept changing partners only because they had other things going on in their lives. So there I am without a partner. So I remember seeing Juliet on stage in LA, and I go, "Whoa, who's that girl?"
Yeah,
that's my next partner.
Yeah. Yeah.
I remember
she was
calling Rachel
incredible.
McGlish. I called Rachel McGlish to guest post. I mean, to mix pairs. She says, "I would love to, but I can hardly remember my own routine." She said. That's what she said. Thanks for the offer.
Oh, man.
JP, you got anything?
Well, I have a lot of craziness in the back. I'm sorry, I can't really get in today. You know, I have the workers in the back here. So, hi, Tony, Jean-Pierre Fuchs here.
How you doing, man?
I'm sorry I'm being real quiet here today. I have remodeling going on in my house.
Oh.
But I'm very happy to listen to you. I mean, I'm a big fan. Also, I came on late being a fan of yours. I saw you guest post about 3 or 4 years ago at the beach.
Okay.
And I think, but this is crazy. You know, I mean, I always noticed how crazy your back is and your showmanship on stage. But it's interesting to listen to you because I had such a unbelievably different approach to bodybuilding than you.
Yes.
And I wish I would have a little bit more of your approach, you know. So for me, it was just, let's just be so freakingly big that it's just out big everybody. Yeah. Which when I listened to you, you know, how you watched Frank Zane pose and the impression it made on you, it's impressive. I had some questions here, but just listening to you, you took it all out. I wanted to kind of know how you were navigating yourself through all those federations. You answered that kind of, but I want to get to something a little different. You know, you guys have been all kind of famous for training endless hours twice a day. And since you trained pretty much till probably now or 2 or 3 years ago on high level, what did change over the years? You know, when you look at your workouts from your 20s, 30s to your workouts in your 50s and 60s?
Mm-hmm. A lot has changed because, you know, in your 20s, you have no injuries, no aches and pains. Yeah, my knee was kind of bad, but you could train around it. My back hurts sometimes, but you just overlook it because you're young and you recover faster. And training with the pros, you better not have an excuse. Imagine me training with Rob Zoe, my back hurting today. Next, out, you know what I mean? You just grit your teeth and get through it. I'm training with the best bodybuilder on the planet every day, twice a day. I'm ready. To tell you something about Robert really quick, I'll get back to that. We train mornings. I'm so exhausted. I go back to his house. I fall asleep. He's out running the hills 10 miles in the mountains. Comes back at 5 o'clock, knocks on my door. GP, let's go. This is every day. This man was incredible. And then the second workout. Imagine getting your mind up for this first and second workout per day, every day. You know what I mean? Mentally. We're not just going in to play around. We're going in to get some serious beatdown. But I was loving it. As long as you love what you do, I guess, you know, the pain doesn't matter. But my 20s and 30s and 40s, in my 40s, I was still training the same way. In fact, I was training with Fabio. You guys know who Fabio is?
Fabio lives here. He's one of my
Yeah.
neighbors.
The
Yeah.
model
Neighbors.
guy, Fabio.
Yes.
Yeah.
We were best friends and became training partners in the mid '90s. So I'm 40 years old at the time. We were dumbbell pressing 130s, 15 reps, and you stand up with the 130 do dumbbell deadlifts with it. So fairly heavy for me, for a little guy. And but then once I turned 50, at 53, I went to Germany and I was 20 pounds overweight. I've been fat once in my life. I retired from bodybuilding. I was depressed for 18 years. I was in retirement. So I go to Germany. I'm overweight. And my friend says, you need to get in shape for some photos for a book we're going to do. I said, wait a minute, 20 pounds overweight. I haven't been on stage. There's no way. He goes, yeah, you got to get in shape. So after 6 or 8 months, I was down to 3% body fat again. So even my 50, I was still doing the same thing. But when I turned 60, that's when things start to go downhill. I'm training a lot less. I can't train twice a day anymore. A lot of different exercises I can't do. I don't do pullovers. I stopped doing the dips, behind the neck presses, a lot less weight. I don't train heavy anymore, more reps, but I'm really into form and technique, precision training. So I know what to do, the angles to maintain the muscle size that I have. I did a bit of a tour in Europe in 2010, 2011, we got 7 shows, and I was in top form. But yeah, once you get past 60, for me, past 60 was like, okay, you better be careful.
Yeah.
You better back off the heavy weights, more reps, focus on your form, more recovery time.
Right.
I'm training each muscle
But
once a week now.
the volume you kept, you still did a lot of sets. You still did a lot of sets, I assume.
Yes, I'm doing a lot of sets and high reps, especially my legs. I'm squatting with a 45, I'm doing sets of 20 reps, maybe 8, 9 sets. 2 more squat, regular squat, just pump, 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 and very little rest between sets. So the intensity is still there. The heavy weights, no. Certain exercises, no.
So there's no anti-aging secrets you can give us, peptides you used or started using GH or anything when you got older, just for to slow down the aging process itself. There's none of that. Huh?
No, I'm not on tests. None of that stuff. I'm not taking.
That's incredible. That's incredible. You'll be 100 years old. I mean, it's absolutely incredible.
No, and I said to myself, I don't know when I might need that stuff. If I can still work out using moderate weights, it's okay. Still getting a great pump. That's all I need. So
all the diet like now, Tony. Now that you're older, how do you eat now compared to when you were younger?
I'm eating very little at the moment. I'm mostly chicken and rice still.
Really?
People still laughing. You're still on the same diet after 49 years.
Yeah.
Chicken and rice, basic. And the red meat doesn't agree with me anymore. Like the red meat, my body's rejecting it. So, which is okay. Why I don't need to eat red meat. But I was competing. I would have a steak occasionally. Protein shakes. No protein shakes. The last 2 shows, no protein shakes. Just eat my food. I'm doing it the old-fashioned way. I eat 4 or 5 small meals a day. And I'm still training for twice a day. 2020, the universe. I trained twice a day for 17 weeks. Never missed a day. There was no day off. Because I said,
Tony.
Yes.
Do you ever do cardio? Do you ever have to do cardio?
The only serious cardio that I did was with Robbie running those steps in Santa Monica.
Right.
70s. But from the 80s, 90s, 2000, I didn't do cardio. My workout was cardio. I'm training twice a day. I mean, you're burning some calories. And of course, I'm watching my diet. And I had a fast metabolism.
So yeah.
So the genetics on my side, yes.
Yeah, you say that you pretty much, other than that 2-year contract with the WWB, I think it was called, you had never any sponsors. You just financed everything through guest postings. And so in the 80s, when you went to Europe to do a guest posing, it couldn't be this. How much did they pay you for a guest posing?
Oh, like a grand, 1,200. Not a lot. Not a
Well,
lot. So you have
today
to
they don't.
line them up. You don't have
Yeah.
back to make a few bucks. But
So it's.
I never saved money from it. Just enough to pay the bills and go on to the next show.
Mhm.
But I was doing
Right.
something I love doing, so it was like I was still having fun.
What are you doing
Yeah.
today?
Personal training. So I have
Where
clients.
are you?
I live in Las Vegas.
Oh,
I moved here in
everybody's
2001. I moved here, and
Are you
so
going to different gyms or you're at a special place?
just one gym in Anytime Fitness. Just one gym. Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't
yeah.
travel around gyms now. And I try to stay away from bodybuilding gyms. I know this sounds. I keep a very low profile. Just try to train my clients, and most of them are not competitors. They just want to get in shape or gain muscle or lose weight. So I just focus on them.
It's an incredible story. I mean, to do it with. I mean, I always knew you didn't take a lot. I mean, otherwise you wouldn't have lasted this long. But it's incredible. So you never really. How you place in shows? Did it start to kind of not? Was it okay with you how you placed, or did you not kind of like, okay, maybe I can be in the top 3 at Olympia? Or did it not matter to you anymore at some point?
Well, like I said, the moment the guy said to me, the judge said to me, "You're not going to win," my mind just switched over because I wanted to win every show. I was winning all the shows.
Yeah.
And at that moment, I go, I know I'm not going to win because he just told me.
How did you said that to you, Tony?
I can't give his name up.
How did you qualify?
Very famous man. Very famous man. Legendary man.
Did he give you a reason why?
He didn't say why. But I had just got reinstated from being suspended. That was my first IFBB show. And, Arnold sent me down there. And I just assumed he was told what's going to happen.
Well, I'm curious, and please don't be mad at me for asking this. Why can't you give his name up? Because he didn't do you any favors at all.
Yeah, but he's a legend. So
is he still around, Tony?
He's still around.
Maybe off the air, maybe.
Yeah,
Wow.
I'm so grateful that he did tell me that, because imagine you continue to compete and you never win, and you get frustrated and you can't figure out why, what's going on, da da da. I knew up front now.
Yeah.
So the word was already out. So I would get in shape. I would get in shape for the fans, for myself, and and just do the best. And then he said, "You always be in top 5," which is almost true. I always landed somewhere in the top 5, near the top. But that brought me exhibitions and seminars because the guys perform. I was invited to every IFBB show to compete because it said Pearson's going to bring the show. He's going to perform. We need him on stage. He's not going to win, but
yeah.
So in 84, 85, when you did go to the Olympia, how the wet shows did you qualify for the Olympia?
You didn't have to qualify for the show. You get an invitation, of course.
Yeah.
But then I figured out, maybe I'm wrong, but I figured out what happened after that. They started saying you have to qualify if you don't break top 10. So guess what? 84 and 85, I come 12th. And I said, see what happened here? To make sure I don't make top 10. I mean, I understand the game. I'm not stupid. I stand on stage and I'll watch the judges. I'm standing in the lineup. If the show's over, going to call out the winners, and I'll stand in and I watch what they're doing. And I see one guy ball something up and write something else and hand to the MC. I see it. I see what's going on. But what am I going to do? Quit? I'm not going to quit. That's my job.
Where do you think, that judge that told you that you weren't going to win, where do you think he got his information from? Who told him?
From the top, has to be.
Yeah.
Very top.
Now, was that judge an American judge?
Yes.
It's our friend Jim, yeah.
So yeah, I come 12th in those two shows. And I mean, I didn't think I'll make top 5 in Olympia, but I thought I could break the top 10 each show. I really thought I could make top 10. Come on.
I agree.
I was so cut. I was so cut, so in shape. And there's a couple of pictures of me that I just, you know, the internet gives you a lot of information later on in life. And then there's a lineup, I think a couple of guys are being compared, and I'm standing in the background. And the expression on my face tells a story. I'm looking up in space like this. The next pose, I'm like this. I'm looking like this. Because I know here, this is it, man.
Yeah.
They got me.
Yeah,
I'm not tooting my own horn. My sister came to see me in New York for the, you know, the last time she come to my shows, but she came to my room that night to see me, and I was lying in bed. And she said to me, "Do I need to call the doctor?" I was such in shape, so in shape. I said, "No, I'll be okay tomorrow." And I was okay. But I looked like death that came over me. I was so in shape, beyond cuts. You can't see it in the videos. You can't see it in the videos. You can't see the condition in the videos. I watch videos. I know what I look like. It doesn't look the same on camera. Looking at this, it's not the same. But yeah, I went, this is Mr. Olympia. You drop dead, you drop dead. I'm not taking drugs to drop dead. I'm drop dead because I trained hard enough to drop dead. Out, who cares? So I went through my whole career. I destroyed my training partners left and right. Next, who's next? And Robbie liked me because he said I was the best training partner he's ever had. We would laugh at each other because he's trying to outdo me. I'm out trying to do. We were toe to toe like the two boxers, set after set, no rest, intense. This is just how we trained. But I was loving it. Still having fun. I was young. I was having fun.
When you met Joe, did he ever tell you that there might be a conflict in the future, or did he say anything? Or
no. First time I met Joe, he said to me, "Arnold sent you here." You know his accent. And I was like 19 years old, and like, yes, and I was so excited. I'm meeting Joe Weider. I saw him in the magazine. He owns the magazine. And I took 3 buses to go from Venice to Woodland Hills. So I took all 3 buses, took practically the whole day. And I talked to the secretary. She says, just have a seat for a minute. He'll come out. Took him about 30 minutes to come out. I jumped up like, whoa. Joe Weider standing in front of me, and I'm so excited. And he goes, that's when he said, "Arnold sent you here." I said, "Yes, he wants you to do an article for the magazine, you know, like a kid." Joe looks me up and down, and he turned, he says, "Jack, do an article on this cat. It says Arnold sent it." And he turned and walked away. And that was the relationship I had with Joe from that point on. There was no relationship, none.
None, yeah.
0. So they wrote the article. Somehow this Jack Neary wrote the article. And I said, "I'm going to be in a magazine, Muslim builder." But it took 2 years before they published it. 2 years.
Wow.
They published it after I won Mr. America. And then it was published. So so there was no contracts, no.
I feel terrible because, you know, I used to go there and turn down his contracts, you know.
Did you see my face? Did you see my face?
I'm sorry, it's very different.
Turned down his contract. Really?
Oh yeah, I had so much better contracts in Europe with Ultimate Nutrition, and he used to come to the lobby to say hi to me, you know, to get me at the lobby and put those numbers out. And I said, "I'm sorry, I have no interest," you know. So then at some point he gave me the highest contract there's been, you know, for 4 years, because he knew the audience is coming to an end, and at that point they all talked I'd be the next one, you know, and I had then no choice. I did sign the 4-year contract, but I always felt terrible because I never wanted to leave Ultimate Nutrition, which treated me like a king. So I mean, I feel terrible when I hear stories, you know, of legends like you who have to go through that, you know. But incredible, absolutely incredible that you stick with it and not just, okay, let me go home and that's it, guy. You had a passion for it and you just kept doing it.
Wow. Well, they always wanted me to go away. That's the impression, the feeling that I had. If this kid would just go away, he's annoying.
Why do you think that?
That's why I said I'm not going anywhere.
Mm.
Do you have any regrets, Tony, when you look back? Do you have any regrets? Any things you would change?
No, there's nothing I would change because I made a decision to go to California. I want to be a professional bodybuilder and I want to be the best in the world. I'm not tooting my own horn. I'm just saying I want to be the best in the world and I'm willing to do the work. So I have no regrets. No, I went through. I sacrificed a lot. That's a regret. I didn't get married. Don't have the kids. I traveled all the time. I lived in every part of the world, the country. So
Tony, did you ever do any like work in Hollywood, or did you do any movies or anything like that?
I did a lot of extra work. I have my Street Actors Guild. I'm in the union, so I got my SAG card, as they call it. And
right.
The Michael Jackson look gave me some work in Hollywood. So back in the '80s, so I did some extra work. I never had any leading roles, or I'm not an actor. I realized I'm not an actor. So, but yeah, I was fascinated with Hollywood. I trained a lot of stars. I know a lot of insiders, and it was fun. It was fun living in Hollywood. Come on, I lived in, So, but did I want to be an actor? No. Do I want to do a few parts? Yes. Bits and parts. Yes. To call myself an actor? No.
But now you're done with the competing part. You're just going to train people and and enjoy your retirement in a way, huh?
Yeah, I train my clients and I focus all my energy on them, and I think I know what I'm doing as a trainer. So we're happy with the results. We're very happy with the results. So
now, Tony, you got your book. Now, is there something about Netflix? Can you talk about that? Something coming out with them?
I don't know where they're going to put this.
Okay.
It's still in post-production. Hopefully about within a month from now, it's ready to go. Either Netflix or Amazon or I don't know where, somewhere.
Okay.
Whoever wants to pick it up. It's an hour and a half, and I'm pretty much the narrator, which was a very, very tough thing to do, to tell your own story on camera. I mean, writing it is one thing, but telling it is another.
Yeah. Did Generation Iron ever approach you about anything? Or have you ever done anything with them?
Yes, I have. Yes, we talked about the book, and it is coming out. That was about 6 months ago. Which was good. I wrote the book because what I went through as a child, I said, once I got to California, I would never tell anyone. I would take it to my grave. This is top secret, So all the girlfriends that I had, they never knew. And no one in the fitness world knew what I went through. And I said one day, I went to lunch with one of my clients, and she said, I was telling my story. She goes, "You need to write that." And I came home that day and I started writing. Years ago, I wanted to write a book, and my friend said to me, "Why do you want to write a book? Everyone has a book, and everyone has a story to tell. Nobody wants to hear it." And that shut me down. I said, "Okay, he's right." Blah blah blah. But then when this client said to me, "You need to write that," and I came home and I started writing. I didn't know how to write a book. Come on, me a writer. So I had a ghostwriter to come in the beginning, but she was from England, so it had a British accent. So Tony Pearson was sounding British in the book.
That's funny.
I'm from the deep south.
Hilarious.
I'm from Memphis, Tennessee, with a Southern African American with Southern accent. Going, quite charming, my dear.
That's funny. That's funny stuff.
Dear,
that's when I realized I gotta let her go.
Dear, that's
So when she left me, here I am with the material that you couldn't sell to anyone. They're gonna laugh me out of the bit on me. It's impossible to sell it. But I said to myself, I'm gonna write this book if it kills me. So I wrote the book. I just somehow just figured it out. If you want to do something bad enough, you can do it.
Mm-hmm.
And I just put my
Find
mind
a
into
way.
it. I have to tell you, that book sent me to the emergency room at 4 o'clock in the morning, 2019. That's where the level of my stress had gone. And I got issues from that still today. That took, and I was training clients every day. I was training for a show and writing the book.
Wow.
I was getting 4 hours sleep per night. I had 2 people to proofread it, and they missed all the mistakes as well. So I had to pay them, and now I'm still stuck with the book. And I had to go back. I read this book 100 times over and over and over, because I didn't want the mistakes to be found. I'm a perfectionist. And so it's not just bodybuilding. This is mental now. This is all mental. And then come home and write the sad parts about my life, you know, because what you don't realize, all that baggage or trauma is still in your body. You're still carrying it with you because you didn't let it go. You didn't let it out.
Right.
So those days I would come home with tears in my eyes. I have to write this scene. I have to talk about what my dad did, what my mom did, what my Auntie Betty did to me. I got to go home and write this. But the good days is when I was in London winning Mr. Universe on the stage, or, you know what I mean, at the Muscle Beach, having fun, those fun days to write. Ooh. So it just goes to show that you carry all your pain with you. Yeah. I wanted to get rid of the pain. And I felt for 20 years I was living a lie. No one knew me. They thought they did. They see you on stage and said, oh, we thought you were, after the book came out, oh, we thought you were like middle class, this and that, da, 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 da. You had a wonderful life. We didn't know anything about this. Man, how did you survive? So, yeah, that's, I just wanted to tell the story. You know, I get criticized for writing the books, of course. And some people says, I'm so glad you wrote the book because you helped me. There's some part of that book I went through. I lived that too. Yeah. So, you know, you say it's okay to tell it. Tell your story.
Yeah.
We all have a story to tell.
We all do. I tell you, you got a good story. It's inspirational.
It's a great story. Great story.
I appreciate it.
Yeah.
So the book is on Amazon now, or what?
Yes, it's on Amazon.
I'm looking very much forward to read it. It's called Driven. Thank you so much. Yeah.
Driven. All right.
Of course, I got criticized about the title. You're never gonna win.
You can't. You know what? I've learned. You can't make everybody happy. It is what it is.
It is what it is.
It is what it is.
That's an impossibility. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's all I got, Tony, man. Unless you guys got something else.
Thank you so much, Tony, for the opportunity to meet you. I mean, you know, I'm always amazed. You guys in the 80s were clearly the golden years. You know, what we did in the 90s was just nearly almost pathetic to what you guys did. You know, we were locking ourselves in and having headphones on and doing our own thing and pumping ourselves full. But this is just great. You know, I mean, I love the story. Thank you so much for coming.
Yeah. Thank you.
Tony, you're going to be at the Olympia?
Yes, it's here in Vegas.
Yes.
December, correct? Yeah.
Correct. Yeah.
I'll be there. Yes.
Awesome. Yes. A couple of us are going to be there. I'd love to meet you in person.
Okay. Absolutely. Yeah.
I'll be in touch for sure.
I appreciate it. Yes.
Awesome. Ian, got anything else?
Appreciate having you, Tony.
No, just
thank you.
Absolute pleasure to meet you and talk to you.
I really appreciate that. Thank you so much.
All right.
I missed those times in London. It's fun in England. I did a tour. I did a little tour.
Did you do a seminar tour in England?
Yes, I did. Yes, I did.
I was there when I was. What year was that?
That was the mid 80s, 86, 87, around that time, 88.
I came to see you. I'm pretty sure I did.
Yes.
That was, I started competing, I think like 84, 85, 86. And yeah, I remember, I'm pretty certain. Did you do any seminars in the Yorkshire area?
Yes, I did. Yes. I went to all the major cities. I had a driver, we hit all the spots. Yes.
I remember seeing John Brown in Bradford, and that was when I was like 15. I went to see John Brown in seminar. He was really entertaining.
Oh yeah.
I'm pretty certain I came to see you in seminar too. Yeah, absolute honor to speak to you, man.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thanks, Tony. I appreciate you telling your story, man.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
It was
All right.
an honor to have you, buddy.
All right.
All right.
See you guys. Have a good evening.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
All right, guys.
All right.
Bye.
Bye bye. Thank you.
Bye-bye.